So then, the new Championship season is just around the corner. 2 weeks to go now, and tomorrow myself and Sophie are dropping our official Championship predictions video. Look out for that at 10:30. I'm really struggling with the relegation picture, I must say. I think the teams coming up from League One look really, really strong. There is one team, however, I think are a certainty to go down, and I'm going to spoil my predictions tomorrow by saying this, but I don't think it's going to come as a massive surprise. I think Sheffield Wednesday are going down, and I think in bottom place. We've spoken about Sheffield Wednesday during the summer, and obviously the chaos off the pitch has led to them being massively, overwhelmingly the favourites to get relegated next season, but it's just not getting any easier for the Sheffield Wednesday fans, who, by the way, I can sympathise with. For any football fan that's supported a club that's gone through any kind of financial hardship and had this, I mean, a transfer embargo, but as well as that, an owner who just doesn't seem to care. The longer we go on like this, the closer to the new season we get without any kind of substantial change at Sheffield Wednesday, then they've got no hope, and if anything, they're going to set records for being the worst team ever at this rate, because Sheffield Wednesday still have Chansiri in charge, and obviously a few people have expected that to change this summer, but like I say, Chansiri still hasn't sold the club as of recording. Danny Roll is an interesting one, because it felt like we spoke a week or two ago and it was all like, oh no, he's going to stay, and that gives them a chance, but is he going to stay? I really don't know anymore. I'm not sure. I mean, he's there at the moment, and so are some players that aren't even under contract. It's just an absolute mess. Speaking of which, we've seen players going out the door: Masaba, Gassama, Michael Smith, and of course Windass, who's been really important for Sheffield Wednesday over the last couple of years, of course. They're all going out the door, so that does leave behind a weak squad, a thin squad, by the way. I'm just looking at it in front of me, by the way. They've got about 3 midfielders. Genuinely, I know they're going to have younger players that can step up, but I mean, this is just a recipe for disaster. I know Alan Hansen once said you can't win anything with kids, and he was proved wrong by Manchester United's class of '92. But I am sure right now the Sheffield Wednesday fans are not kind of sharing those levels of optimism that they're going to have the next class of '92. I think the main thing for Sheffield Wednesday fans, and this is just how brutally ridiculous the situation is, the Sheffield Wednesday fans just want a club come the end of this summer. All this chaos, they just want a club. They want a team that can play football matches. Of course, you want a successful team, but this is the dire straits they're in. We spoke about Morecambe last week, and that's a very, very desperate situation. And with Sheffield Wednesday, if things don't improve, what's to say things can't get worse, by the way? I know they're a big club, but that doesn't mean that they're just going to suddenly become successful again. What really concerns me is when you look at it right here, right now, it's hard to see how they're meant to make any kind of comeback at any point soon. They do need the sale. They do need the club to be bought by someone else. They need that to go through before anything can improve. We touched on it being one of the few possibilities. Maybe Chansiri had a change of heart and all of a sudden he had a massive cash injection into Sheffield Wednesday, and that could be how their fortunes are reversed. It's just not going to happen, is it? That's just not a possibility. So like I say, I'm looking at it for next season because we've got the predictions coming. The squad is so small. There's a transfer embargo. I mean, possible points deduction, you can't rule that out. Possibly a stand being closed as well, the north stand. Danny Roll, of course, like I say, is he going to be there? I mean, this is just ridiculous. I was trying, and I try and do this with every club, I try and be fair. I try and think of positives. Is there a positive here for Sheffield Wednesday? I'll try and scrape a few together and let me know your thoughts in the comments, but this is quite desperate. So for the time being, Danny Roll being there is a positive because we like him and we think he's an up-and-coming manager who's going to go on to good things. Not sure if those good things are going to be with Sheffield Wednesday right now, but the players that they have got, Jamal Lowe, EK Ugbo, so they've got a couple of players that have scored goals before in the Championship. I mean, we're talking about Sheffield Wednesday right now as if they're some sort of National League team that's been transported to the Championship, or that they've spawned here and they're so out of their depth. But I mean, siege mentality? Could that be it? Is that anyway? I mean, that has to be it. That has to be it. I mean, like I say, we used the example a couple of years ago with Derby County, minus 21 points, and they had a massive points deduction. But I think this situation is just as desperate. At least Derby managed to scrape together a few free agents. Derby, although they did go down, they definitely had siege mentality, and they took points off good teams that season. I think they drew with Fulham and they beat Bournemouth, who were teams that went on to get automatic promotion, I believe. So that's maybe the only way. I mean, does Sheffield Wednesday have to be resolute at the back and try and cling on for some results? Yeah, maybe. Let's have a look at these first few fixtures for Sheffield Wednesday, because Leicester City away, now that does set the tone. And Leicester have got their own chaos and their own problems, but Leicester have got to be licking their lips. Leicester are overwhelmingly favourites for that, because Leicester's problems still don't compare to Sheffield Wednesday's. Yes, Leicester are having a transition with the change in management and a possible points deduction, but that said, look at their squad and then look at Sheffield Wednesday's, and it's at the King Power. So it's not like I mean, the Sheffield Wednesday fans can make some kind of difference. I'm sure they'll be there being vocal, but more so when I'm thinking of siege mentality, that's going to be them making Hillsborough a fortress in some way, shape or form. So I don't know about that. If they go down to Leicester and lose like 5-0, which is a real possibility, by the way, then that, like I say, sets a terrible tone. The following week, it's Stoke at home. That's probably the first game where Sheffield Wednesday can look at and think, we could get something. Even then, Stoke will be overwhelmingly favourites. And then it's Wrexham away. Now, Wrexham have just come up. I know some people are going to have big, bold and brave predictions for Wrexham to go and do another promotion. I'm not quite there. I think Wrexham probably will stay up, but I'm not quite sure if they're going to go on to do another promotion. But that's a massive game, isn't it? Wrexham v Sheffield Wednesday, because I think Wrexham's first two games are Southampton away and West Brom at home. So it's possible Wrexham have picked up no wins, but then they look at this game and they think, right, we've got to win this, and it's at the racecourse. And if they could beat Sheffield Wednesday 2-3, 4-0, and then that's just a massive statement for both clubs. And it really sort of shows which trajectory both clubs are going in. Wrexham on their way to staying in the Championship, Sheffield Wednesday possibly on their way out. And like I say, I don't want to be all doom and gloom, but then after that, Swansea at home, and a lot of the Swansea fans are feeling optimistic right now. So, those first four games, okay, they're not the most difficult first four. You could have had Ipswich, Southampton, Sheffield United. Speaking of which, Sheffield United, the first Steel City derby, 22nd of November. It is at Hillsborough. The thing is, these two clubs right now are worlds apart on the pitch. Sheffield United are desperate to get promoted back to the Premier League. They've got a squad that can achieve that. Sheffield Wednesday just trying to stay in the Championship, as I say. What worries me for Sheffield Wednesday is how embarrassing that could get. Now, I know Sheffield United already did the double over Sheffield Wednesday last season, and they had the pride of being able to say they're the best team in Sheffield. I mean, like I say, that they could be even further apart this season. Oh, I'm really struggling for positives, I've got to be honest. Like I say, I always struggle to predict the relegation picture in the Championship, especially, like I say, with three good teams coming up, because we've seen, Birmingham City are not going to be near the bottom three, let's be honest. They're going to be towards the top. I think Wrexham are going to be okay as well, even though their business hasn't been the most inspiring so far. I think that momentum and togetherness has got them to probably stay up. And then Charlton will give it a go as well. Nathan Jones, he's a warrior down at the bottom, isn't he? And their business looks okay. So it leaves me puzzled with the bottom three picture other than Sheffield Wednesday. I've got to be honest. And to be honest, my track record with Sheffield Wednesday predictions, if anyone's interested, for the last 5 seasons, I've always been within 2 places of getting them right. In the 2020-21 season, I said they'd finish bottom. They did. To be fair, that season they had a points deduction, so it wasn't the most incredible prediction, but I did get that right. The following couple seasons in League One, I said they'd finish 2nd, they finished 4th, I then said they'd finish 1st, they finished 3rd, and then they came up, I said they'd stay up in 20th place, and they did, bang on, and last season I said they'd finish 10th, and they finished 12th. So I have actually got a pretty good track record of predicting Sheffield Wednesday. In fact, over the last 5-6 years, it's probably the team I'm best at predicting. And I hate to say it to you, Sheffield Wednesday fans, I am drawn towards a bottom 3 prediction in my video tomorrow. I really am. I'm really sorry. Sheffield Wednesday fans, do share your thoughts. Like I say, the main thing is trying to get some sort of resolution off the pitch. The on-the-pitch stuff does come second to it, but the season's just around the corner, and we are going to have to start doing these predictions and talking about Sheffield Wednesday on the pitch. And I'm not sure right now if it's going to make for happy viewing. I really hope they can pull together, though. They are now an underdog, just because I think everyone's going to write them off. So let's see. Let's see if they can prove a lot of people wrong. I hope they prove me wrong. Wednesday fans, share your thoughts. Like I say, this is not me hating on you. This is me just sharing some concerns, which I'm sure you have as well. Good luck for next season. Comment down below, drop a like, subscribe. Let's see what happens next at Hillsborough. Just 2 weeks till the season starts. Take care. Peace out.